Hi YouTube family, Z4C Natural here, and today I'm going to give you tips to have a flawless braid out. So I'm just going to get right into it. Number one, you definitely want to start on wash day. So right now I have already washed my hair. It's actually been a week, but I planned for my braid out on my wash day. And there were a couple of steps that I did for that. You can see this is the hair from my simple wash routine video. It's been a week, and normally I would leave it for at least a week, sometimes more. It was really easy to do that this time because everyone's in quarantine. But if you're not in quarantine, you do have to go out. There are lots of easy ways to cover up your braids. You know, if you have to go out and about, you can use head wraps. If your hair is long enough, you can kind of pull it up into a bun. You can add accessories to make it look cute. So there are lots of things that you can do. I usually opt for a nice head wrap. Okay, so we started on wash day. Another key element for a nice braid out is to make sure that you have secured the ends. When I say secured the ends, meaning that you've styled your ends in some sort of way. So I have actually used hanging bantu knots, and I'll probably do a video in detail on these because this has been a total game changer. But this is really important because it's going to give your braid out a more finished look. I like to do the hanging bantu knots because it doesn't require anything extra, and my 4C hair really doesn't curl, so some people just coil the ends. My ends don't do that, they go crazy. Another option is to use small rods on the end. A lot of people do that, and that, again, it's just going to give a cleaner look. It's also going to protect your end. So I opted for hanging bantu knots. Okay, another key is that you want to use minimal product. So I use the LCO method, so liquid cream oil, and I did that on my wash day. I did do a few spritzes in between of this. So this is Shea Moisture Silken Leave-In Treatment. You can use anything you have. This is not my favorite, but it did, it did work for the time being. Again, we are in quarantine, so I'm just working with what I have here. So if your hair feels dry, you can definitely spritz it in between. I'm still experimenting with that, but I found that, sometimes just a really good wash day and leaving it alone until you're ready to take it down, that's worked for me in the past. But this time I did spritz it with that leave-in. You want to use minimal product. You don't want to have too much product in your hair because when you take down, it might be flaky, or it might not really set the way you want. So minimal product. You just want to get enough to make sure that your hair is moisturized and that it feels soft and supple. All right, and then finally you want to make sure you give yourself enough time. So I suggest at least a week really for the braid out, and that's for a couple of reasons. So number one, if you give it a week, you're essentially making it a protective style. A braid out on its own is not a protective style because the finished product, your ends are loose and exposed, but it's low manipulation and somewhat protective if you leave the braids in for a week. That means you're giving your hair a week of time just untouched, just on its own without being handled too much, and you're minimizing breakage. So I like to leave my braids in for at least a week, and again, that was really, really easy this time. You can do it for, I would say, at least 24 hours, but if you're rebraiding your hair that often, you're not really getting the full benefit. What I like about braid outs is that it's a low manipulation style. So I feel like you kind of get to enjoy your hair at the end with the braid out, but you are getting the protective styling portion if you do leave it in for at least a week. All right, so now I'm just gonna get into the takedown. So I recommend using a little bit of oil. So I have avocado oil here. I'm just gonna put a little bit on the hair strand before I take it down. So just a little bit. Okay, so I'm unraveling the hanging bantu knot first. And then just very gently unbraiding. And again, with 4C hair, you really want to take your time. I know this feels like it should be quick, but it's not. So take your time. That way you can avoid tangles and loss of hair. Take your time with this. If you're in a rush, don't do it. Just put your head wrap on and give it another day. Give it, plan it for when you have time to take down your hair gently. And I find that putting that little bit of oil on the strand just really helps. Gives it a little bit of shine. It just makes it easier to take down as well. Now, when you braided your hair, if you kept the braid without borrowing from other pieces of hair, it'll be easier to take down. So after you get past the ends of your hair, you should be able to kind of do that pretty easily. And I like to just put a little bit of oil at the top as well. So I'm just using my homemade growth oil here at the top and just massaging that in at the top while I'm undoing it, and just continue throughout. So I have finished unbraiding my hair, and this is the final product. I have not fluffed it at all, and the reason for that is I like to fluff it the second day. That will give me the most out of the braid out, so it'll naturally get bigger and bigger as time goes on. If you can leave it unfluffed for the first day, it'll just last you longer. I'm gonna try to keep this for a month. I'm gonna do very little. I'm just gonna oil it in between some scalp massages, and other than that, bonnet at night. And I'm just gonna wear it like this, and it'll get bigger and bigger over time. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe.